Hello everyone, my name is Kieran. Welcome to another Manchester United live stream. Tonight we're going to be talking all things Manchester United transfer news. And the big news of today is Anthony Martial has signed a new 4-year deal with the club with the 1-year option to extend his contract after that. So basically 5 years on a 4-year deal. 5 years technically, if you know what I mean, 250 grand a week, and that is a massive deal, but one which I think a lot of people saw coming. A lot of people realised the rumours that Martial was going to be, signing a contract by Friday, and it looks like it has happened. So that's a brilliant piece of transfer news. But also, we're going to be discussing all the other Manchester United transfer news, including all the new contracts, and also a few of the transfer rumours, like Marouane Fellaini potentially leaving the club to join a Chinese club. We'll be getting into that as well. But of course, this show is about you guys, so please do let me know your thoughts in the live chat and the comment section down below of anything you want to talk about. And this is really a review of the January transfer window, because let's be honest, there's not too much long left at the time I'm recording this of the transfer window. So let you know, there's not much time left, so probably the deals that have been done at Manchester United are the ones which are going to be stayed done. So ultimately, I want you guys to get your teeth stuck into this, and we're going to get our teeth stuck into this. What are your thoughts on it? Welcome Billy T and welcome Yash. Thanks for joining. If you could, guys, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you check out my review of the Burnley game. Go and check it out if you haven't already. It's up on the channel right now. Really, I mean, the result obviously was a bit disappointing. It was good that we came back at the end. But if you want to go see my thoughts on the Burnley match, let me know your thoughts on it. The video is live on the channel right now. But we're going to start with the Anthony Martial news. And, you know, I was so happy when I saw that Anthony Martial had signed a new contract. As I said, you know, I think a lot of people were expecting this. I think a lot of people were, you know, thinking that Martial, there's a lot of rumours flying around that he was going to sign the new deal. But it's great that it's finally happened and that he has put pen to paper and he's standing with the interim manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Just brilliant to see. But you know what? It's just so good as well, because in fact, when Jose Mourinho was about, there were a lot of rumours suggesting that Martial was potentially wanting to leave Manchester United, and a lot of United fans were worried about that prospect. So the fact that he has signed a 4-year deal is just so good. And you know, I think Martial will definitely be a huge part of this new free-flowing system that we're playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he'll definitely enjoy it a lot more than he did under Mourinho, although his goal-scoring record under Jose Mourinho was actually very good, and in some cases he did keep him in a job. So, you know, you've got to say Martial, even under the worst circumstances, has performed very well, and hopefully he can continue his progression, continuing trying to hit his potential. Still only 22, so still a long time left at Manchester United, and hopefully he can continue to grow as a player. And this free-flowing attacking style of football that we're playing at the moment, playing alongside the likes of Rashford and Lingard and Pogba playing brilliantly as well, will give him the licence to be the player that we all know he can be. Welcome Exchange Giving Plays and welcome Manchester United Fans TV. Please leave a like, guys, if you haven't already, and let me know your thoughts on the Anthony Martial news. What was your first reaction when you saw that Anthony Martial had signed a new contract for Manchester United? I was absolutely buzzing. But he was obviously the main bit of transfer news that we got out of the day, really, out of transfer deadline day. Not too much else in terms of transfer deadline day. There's also the potential transfer of Marouane Fellaini to Chinese club Shandong Luneng or something like that. To be honest with you guys, I'm not 100% sure on the name. The pronunciation's probably poor as well. But we'll move on from that. But ultimately, you know, it's a Chinese club going to China, as a lot of players are, obviously potentially joining his Belgian teammate Yannick Carrasco as well. But I think Fellaini, whilst he's had some good moments at United, he's never quite fitted in with the style of midfielder that United have needed, and also the one which the fans have wanted. A lot of fans have really not taken to Marouane Fellaini. A lot of people saying he should only be a plan B. And whilst I think he has been a very effective plan B for us, playing against Arsenal last season, I remember we needed the goal. He came on and scored the header, and he's actually this season as well affected games. Came on against Juventus and actually did really well. And I think Fellaini did have a bit of an underrated impact when he did come off the bench. When he started, he never really had a great impact, and he was very, very slow a lot of the time, and just, as I said, not the kind of dynamic midfielder that is going to suit the fast, kind of free-flowing attacking football that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play. And so I think in the end of the day it was the right move for Solskjaer to let him go, and I'm sure he'll get some well-needed kind of game time, as well as a well-needed pay rise for Marouane Fellaini as well. Yes, as I felt relieved when Jose was there, Martial was linked to Arsenal. Of course, yeah. That's the thing. When Jose Mourinho was still at Manchester United, Martial was heavily linked with moves away to Arsenal, PSG, other clubs, Juventus as well. But as I said, it's so good that we have kept him. He has stayed on board at Manchester United, and hopefully, of course, for the foreseeable future, if he does, stay out his contract, then he will be with United till he's about 26, 27, which by that time he should be in the prime years of his career, and who knows how good he could be, because he's shown some brilliant potential so far in his Manchester United career, and he's still only 22 years old. The world is his oyster, and hopefully under this new system it'll suit him a lot better, and his progression will just go from strength to strength. But that's what I'm hoping. Welcome, Crazy Piece of Gaming. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. But yeah, Marouane Fellaini, of course, was another bit of transfer news. Now, I'm not sure whether this deal is going to go over the line. Last I heard, they're in negotiations, but I think this deal is probably going to happen. I think it is going to happen. I think it will get over the line. It's not confirmed as of right now, but I feel this deal is going to get over the line sooner rather than later. But you know what, Fellaini, he had some memorable moments, obviously scoring against Arsenal, scoring a very important goal for our Champions League group stage this season against Young Boys. Obviously, the performance was absolutely shocking, but Fellaini came up with the important goal when it mattered, so you've got to give props to him. But yeah, I think Fellaini, he had some memorable moments in a Manchester United shirt, but ultimately it just wasn't for him. He was never a Manchester United player. As soon as you saw him in the shirt, he just didn't look suited to being a Manchester United player. And, unfortunately, it's ended up as I think a lot of United fans expected his career at United to end up. So, unfortunate for him. I'm sure he would have wanted to stay at Manchester United, but I think he knew in his heart of hearts that he was never going to get the game time that he wanted and needed for his career as well. And it was time for him to leave, and I think it was time for him and Manchester United to part ways as well. But yeah, leave your thoughts on that, guys. Leave your thoughts on any of the transfer stories that we talk about in tonight's stream. I'm eager to hear what you guys have to say, and of course leave your thoughts in the comment section down below as well. Scott McTominay is another one that I want to talk about. Scott McTominay, of course, has signed a new deal with the club as well, on a very similar timescale to Martial. I think it's about 3 or 4 year contract with Scott McTominay. Now, a lot of United fans, when this news came out, were a bit kind of like, why are we signing Scott McTominay when we've got other, he's kind of one of the deadwood players that we need to get rid of. And you know what? He's a young kid. Let's get this straight. He's a young kid. He's still got a lot of time, a lot of potential. And yes, obviously his starts with Manchester United career, whilst being professional, he hasn't exactly set the world alight. But what can you expect from a holding midfielder? He hasn't had that many chances. Obviously, Nemanja Matic has kind of been getting in ahead of him, and Herrera as well. Hasn't had too many chances, and when he has got on the pitch, he hasn't made the best of impacts, but I think he has had some decent performances which have shown his professionalism at such a young age, and I think there's definitely some potential there. And I think there are some Man United fans who I feel are, kind of jumping the gun on a bit and saying, oh, well, he's been here for 2 or 3 seasons. He's been kind of in and out of the first team. He hasn't cut it. We should just move him on loan somewhere. But for me, I think we should still give this kid a chance. I think he's still got something to prove. Yes, I think after a few seasons of game time, I think if he doesn't start performing, then we should be looking at potentially moving him on and giving him to a more suited club to him, because sometimes players just aren't suited to the club, and maybe that's the case with McTominay. But I think he's got so much more time. There's so much more time in his career. He's only like 20 years old or something. He's got he's got his whole career ahead of him. So I think there are some United fans who are definitely jumping the gun on whether Scott McTominay is right for the club. So, yeah, I'm hoping he can become another very successful academy graduate at Manchester United. I'm really hoping that he can do that, because I think he has got potential. There's no doubt Scott McTominay has got potential. It's just, will he be able to fulfill that? And I think the only way he'll be able to fulfill that is with kind of regular game time. And at Manchester United, I'm not sure how much he realistically is going to get regular game time, but he needs to take his chances when they come to him. And, I wish the best of him. I really do wish the best for him, because I think he's a good guy. Whenever he's coming to the team, as I said, he's put in a really professional performance. So I'm hoping he can do the business. He can become a really good player and continue the success that the Manchester United youth team has had, because it has been very, very successful. If you look at our team so far, Marcus Rashford, Paul Pogba on the pitch, we've all Jesse Lingard, all United Academy graduates, and hopefully Scott McTominay can follow in those footsteps as well. But yeah, I'm hoping he can do that. But I do think that there's some Man United fans who've kind of, jumped the gun slightly on, Scott McTominay. I do hope he can have an illustrious career, whether that's at Manchester United or not. Welcome to the Football Crew Show. He says, I'm happy Martial has finally signed a new deal. I'm glad that United have finally got rid of Fellaini. Thank you for his service. Well, of course, Martial, as I said, I think a lot of United fans were very, very happy to see Martial signing. And I think Martial signing a new deal on deadline day was basically the same as a new signing for us. The excitement it gave us, knowing that a player with the potential and the ability of Anthony Martial is staying with the squad for the foreseeable future is very, very encouraging, and hopefully that will encourage other players like David De Gea, like Paul Pogba, like Ander Herrera to sign new contracts with Manchester United, because this next season and towards the end of this season and for the coming seasons, we're going to need a very, very strong spine of the team. And I think Anthony Martial really does contribute that. And also Marouane Fellaini, yep, of course. I think Fellaini, as you said there, thank you for his service. I think Fellaini has produced some decent moments for us, has been very, very kind of, he's been a comedy player, let's be honest. He's someone who, whenever we see him play, there's never a dull moment with Marouane Fellaini. And for that, you've got to say fair play to him. So, yeah, I'm happy that he did come to United in the end, and he did have some good moments for us, but of course he did have a lot of kind of poor performances as well. And as I said, I don't think he was realistically suited to the Manchester United player role. And I think the midfield role that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants now, we've already got players who can fill that role, in the likes of Nemanja Matic and Ander Herrera as well, who have been brilliant under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I just think he just doesn't fit the mould of a United player. I think there's some players who sign for United and you go, you know what, he is a United player, he's meant to wear the shirt. Marouane Fellaini, when he first took the picture in a Manchester United shirt, it just didn't look, it didn't look like it was meant to be. It didn't look like it was meant to be. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for him. But you know what? Fellaini looks to be going now. He'll go to China. He'll enjoy his time there. And definitely he'll get a lot more money there as well. So he'll definitely enjoy it. And, yeah, fair play to him. Welcome, Rashford Jawara. Thanks for joining, pal. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like, guys. And also, please do, share the stream around. Anything you guys can do to kind of grow this channel, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And I really appreciate all of your support. But yeah, of course, Scott McTominay, and there's also rumours of Ashley Young potentially signing an extension at the club. Now, I'm not sure what you guys think about this. I think Ashley Young, for me, has actually been quite an underrated performer for Manchester United. Yes, he's getting on a bit. I think he's about 35 years old. He's getting on a bit. There's no doubt about that. And I think his time in the top level is definitely coming to an end, and we will have to look to replace him. I think that was where the signing of Diogo Dalot came in. But I think this season and last season, I think he actually had a decent impact, and in regards to his age, he's actually done very, very well for Manchester United, and been a consistent performer, which has actually landed him the captain's armband at United as well. So, you know, I think Ashley Young, you've got to say fair play to him. He has performed probably to the best of his ability in terms of what he's got left in the tank, if you consider his age. So, you know, I think Ashley Young, he's been a decent performer for us. I think we definitely need to, you know, replace him and bring someone else in. But I think for the end of the season at least, he'll do a job for us, and I think that is what he's done since he's come to Manchester United. He's always put in a shift and done a job for us. And whilst he hasn't been probably the best right back we ever had, I mean, he's definitely not the best right back we've ever had, but you know, he has put a shift in when needed, and put in some really good defensive performances, and has offered us a decent crossing option as well. So, you know, there's not much more you could ask for an ageing player like him. Razzle says, only Fellaini departure is not enough. We need 3 more departures. And look, this is something that a lot of United fans will pick up on. I think we have a lot of deadwood in the club. There's no doubt about that. You know, and I think in the summer there will be a bigger clear out. January window, there's not too many clubs making moves, but in the summer there'll be a lot more time. There'll be, you know, a few months more time to kind of for clubs to buy some of our deadwood players. And I think that's definitely something that we're going to need to do. You know, clear out the deadwood, bring in some more squad players who are going to be able to affect our games and come off the bench and do well, and you know, hopefully we can have a good crack at the league next season. But you know, let's hope we can do that. I'm not sure what's going to happen next season. I'm hoping we can challenge for the league, although I've been saying that for the last kind of 3 or 4 seasons and we haven't done it. So, you know, I guess it's going to take investment. And I think for me, the one thing I was disappointed about was, you know, we didn't bring in a centre-back. Although, let's be realistic, with an interim manager in charge, we were never going to spend 80, 90 million on someone like a Koulibaly or a Manolas or someone like that. We were never going to spend that sort of money. Anyone who thought that was completely naive to say the least. So, you know, we were never going to spend that sort of money in the January transfer window. As soon as we saw that we had an interim manager going into the January transfer window, I think a lot of us knew, you know what, we're not going to sign anyone here, and we haven't. We haven't signed anyone, and for me, it was totally expected. Maybe we do need players, and I think there are definitely positions where we need to strengthen, but that is for the summer. For the rest of the season, we're just going to have to continue playing the great football that we have been playing. Defensively, it is definitely a problem, and it's something we're going to have to strengthen in the summer. Whether we bring in someone like Koulibaly or De Ligt as well, Manolas, someone, just a leader, needs to come in and marshal that back 4. If we don't bring in someone like that, I think we probably won't have a chance of challenging for the league. Whilst Lindelof has been one of our best players this season, and he's up for Player of the Month as well for January. But, you know, Lindelof needs someone next to him, a consistent partner who's on the same sort of level as him at the moment. And unfortunately, you know, Eric Bailly's done a very, very good job, but he's not on the same level as Lindelof right now. Yes, he's a brilliant defender and he's still got a lot of time. And I do back Eric Bailly. I back Eric Bailly to do well for us. But, you know, it depends. I think we do still need some investment in that area. Ratchet Joy says, fair enough, Ashley Young is important for us. You will never know their importance until they left. Well, exactly. I think there's a lot of players, especially squad players, where they leave the club and you go, oh, you know what? You know, good riddance. They've left the club. We can go on forth. And then in the next few games, you go, you know what? We could have really used with that sort of player. We could have really used with that sort of player. And that's just the way of the world. You know, you don't know. You know, you never know. You know, you never know you need something until it's gone. You know, it's the way of the world, isn't it? It's the way of the world. And you know, it's just. I think Ashley Young, when he does leave, you know, I mean, I think we'll have a decent replacement anyway, so I don't think we'll have to worry too much about that. But I think he has done a decent job for us, and as always, you know, when he's come into the side, been professional, similar to Scott McTominay, even though he hasn't had, you know, doesn't have the best ability in the world as a right back. I think he's done a job for us when he's had to, and he's come in, done a job for us. So I've got to say fair play to him. I have to say fair play to him, especially considering his age. I mean, the man's what, 35 years old. You've got to take your hats off to him. You've got to take your hat off to him. So, you know, fair play to him, fair play to him. But I want you guys to leave your thoughts. How would you rate this transfer window out of 10? How would you rate it? What do you think? Do you think it was a really good transfer window? Obviously, the likes of Anthony Martial signing a new contract. Or do you think we should have done a lot more in this transfer window? You know, signing a centre-back, right winger as well has been talked about. Do you think we should, how would you rate this transfer window out of 10? Let me know in the live chat and the comment section down below as well. But, I think one thing about that right winger, of course, Juan Mata for me is definitely someone who we probably should have looked to ship out. I think Mata, unfortunately, is someone who, has a wonderful left foot, there's no doubt about it, and has got a lot of technical ability. But ultimately, in terms of the attacking, free-flowing pace that we need in the system that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is playing, and who knows if Solskjaer is going to be here next season, but hopefully he is. I think Juan Mata, unfortunately, just doesn't cut it in that sort of formation. I think as a bench player, someone who can come on and affect the game, I think Mata is definitely a good option. But for someone to start in that right winger position, I don't think he's good enough for me, just because of his lack of pace. But I think a right winger, I think Jesse Lingard has done a decent job for us. He's banging form at the moment. And I think, with his partner in crime, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial up there as well, I think he'll just do just fine. But yeah, for me, Juan Mata, unfortunately, hasn't really done the business for us at the moment. And I think a lot of United fans were saying that Mata probably should have been moved on from Manchester United. But he hasn't been moved on. I think he will be here for at least another season. I think Solskjaer does rate Mata a lot. But hopefully he's played more as a bench option rather than a starting option on the right winger. I think Mata is much more suited to being a central attacking midfielder, but in the formation we've got, and also Paul Pogba is already that box-to-box midfielder who plays that role and is in banging form at the moment. So Mata, if we did try and play a central attacking midfielder, I don't think he would get in the team. So anyway, welcome Dazza, thanks for joining, mate, really appreciate it. Please do leave a like, guys, if you haven't already, really appreciate that. And let me know your thoughts on the transfer window. Do you think that we should have done any different deals, or do you think we should have, not done, do you think we shouldn't have signed, what, you know what I mean, Full Crucial says 7 out of 10 for him. Ralph says we have to know, that we have to is better than we should have. Yeah. That is true, that is true. Dazza, yeah, mate, feel free to call in, mate. Feel free to call in. Please do, Dazza. Hold on. Need to get Skype up. I should have done this before the stream. But yeah, please do feel free to call in, Daryl. Please do feel free to call in. Dazzle says he's glad that Fellaini left the club. I think a lot of people are glad, but to be fair, I think Fellaini did have some memorable moments for us. So I've got to congratulate him on that front. But yeah, Daryl, please do feel free to call in, mate. If you want to, and let your thoughts be heard on the stream. And if you guys want to call in as well, my Skype is in the description down below. Add me on there and you can call in. So please do feel free to do so. And we can have a chat live on stream. But yeah, guys, I mean, look, to be fair, this January transfer window has not been very busy in terms of transfer videos and things like that on the channel. But there hasn't been much transfer news, really. You can try and make up transfer news if you like, but there really has been very tenuous links to transfers. And ultimately, we were never going to sign anyone, really. Having an interim manager, the board aren't going to give him that much money to spend. They're not going to do it. And they're obviously going to wait until they've got a proper full-time manager. And obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they're not 100% sure whether he is going to become the full-time manager or not. So, yeah, I didn't really expect to sign anyone, but there you go. There was a lot of rumours flying around and a lot of reports. But, of course, they never materialise, especially in the January transfer window. So, yeah, please feel free to call in if you want to. And, yeah, I don't know what to say. It wasn't the most exciting transfer window, I've got to say. And in terms of the whole of the Premier League, I would say probably Higuain coming to Chelsea on loan, probably the biggest deal in terms of profile. He hasn't really done that well for Chelsea. Obviously got subbed off after 63 minutes it was. So hasn't done the best for Chelsea in that respect. Callum Hudson-Odoi looks like he's going to be leaving for Bayern Munich as well, and I think that is a huge loss for Chelsea. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi looked really, really good when he came on for Chelsea, so that is something which they're going to... I don't think if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be too happy about that. Right, Daz is calling us. Let's take the call. Hold on. Hello, Daryl, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, good evening, mate. How are you doing?
Well, not too great.
All right.
Been struggling with illness again.
Oh, well. I mean, thanks for coming on, and obviously, I hope whatever's going on with your illness, clears up, because
the flu virus. So I've not been on YouTube this week. Really,
yeah. I mean, it's annoying, isn't it? It's annoying, but thanks for coming on, Daryl. Really appreciate it. And as I said, hopefully you do get better soon. But we're here to talk about transfers as well. The January transfer window for Manchester United. What has been your thoughts on it?
It's been disappointing, and I'd say it has been the worst one since Jose Mourinho. But I think that was down to the fact that obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been very limited. He's been limited with signings by the board. The board just don't want to spend money. And was said before that we probably wouldn't sign anyone. I suppose the only good thing about this transfer window is mainly our players signing new deals. Martial staying till 2024, big positive, especially considering how well he's been playing his last couple of games. There was a poll on the actual United app saying who's player of the month. If I was going to say that, I'd say Pogba. So I think Pogba's definitely shown what he's made of. And a lot of the players seem to play with a lot more heart under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But it's been disappointing from our standards, and it's just pretty much the same old United. And this is worrying from a United perspective. That Borough and Sunderland have signed more. We've signed exactly the same as Spurs. Signed pretty much nobody. Although Spurs at the minute linked with Michy Batshuayi from Chelsea. So, I mean, if we don't sign anyone tonight, then yeah, it's disappointing. But I think I'm not blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for this. I'm blaming the board, because the board have said that, that I'd say pretty much limited when it comes to signing people. And if he was only going to sign people for United, it would be probably loans. So I think this is all down to the board. It's now to do with him, but overall, it's been shite.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously, I think, especially with an interim manager, I don't think we could have really expected that much, to be honest. I think the board probably, we're never going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, any sort of substantial funds to go out and spend in the transfer window. But as you rightly highlighted, re-signing Martial on a contract extension is very, very positive news for us. What are your thoughts on Scott McTominay signing a contract, a long-term contract with Manchester United? Do you think he has a future as a potential Man United player?
Excuse me, mate. Sorry. Right. Oh, this has been me. This is me all week. Oh, it's been a nightmare. I did a video about this on my channel a couple of days, probably a couple of weeks ago, saying about this, and I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that he's actually signed a new deal, considering, okay, he's got some upcoming prospect in him, but the only issue is we're not using it like correctly. We're not giving him the game time that he requires. So for me, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that he signed a new deal, and I'm very surprised that he didn't go out on loan. So I felt he would have been better off going out on loan to, probably a lower league club. I know it would probably sound a bit harsh on him. I mean, he's a very good player, but he's not getting his game time. What's the point of keeping him? But now obviously he signed his new contract. Maybe that might see him coming into the game, for Andres Pereira or someone else, because I didn't think Pereira. I thought Pereira had a poor game against Burnley. I didn't think. I mean, it's one of his only starts. Makes an absolute cock up, which allows I can't remember who scored, but it allows the Burnley attacker in, and it's poor from him. And it was a mix up between him and Jones. But McTominay, now we've seen what Pereira's like. McTominay might get some game time. I think at the minute he's more of a sporadic first team player. In basic terms, he gets played very, very occasionally. So I'm very surprised by this. I'm surprised he didn't go out on loan.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It would have been. I mean, we have seen a few of Rashawn Williams, a few United youngsters already going out on loan as well. Joel Pereira as well, the goalkeeper who recently actually came back from a loan spell. I think in Spain. Now it's I'm not sure if it's Spain or not, but came back from a loan spell and have now gone back on loan to another Belgian side. So there has been a few loans from Manchester United. And I think Scott McTominay, he definitely needs regular game time to progress into the player that I think he can become. I think he definitely has potential there, but I'm not sure whether he does have a career at Manchester United. But Daryl, finally, I wanted to ask you about. In the summer, because obviously we're on the topic of transfers. In the summer, what do United need to do? What business do United need to do? What areas do they need to strengthen in the summer, do you think, to mount a significant title challenge next season?
Well, when you consider what we got at the minute, and our main target would have been trying to get another centre-back better than Phil Jones. That hasn't happened in this transfer window. A lot of people said that we could have done with some more better quality players up front. I mean, I think Martial, Pogba and Rashford and all them, I think they're all doing well. It's Lukaku who's the problem. I don't think Lukaku should have started against Burnley. For me, I think it's a hard one because we don't actually know where we're going to finish this season. And I don't even know if we'll finish in the top 4, but we have a very good chance, considering Chelsea lost in their game against Bournemouth. So, who knows? I think pretty much we need to sign at least one player. But as I said, that'll all depend on who gets the permanent manager. Well, if Solskjaer gets the permanent managerial role, then I doubt we'll sign many people because I know a lot of people like Solskjaer's style of play, but when you look at it, we struggled in the Burnley game, and it would depend on who United brought in as to who will sign. Because if we sign someone like Zidane, then we're very likely to get someone in the transfer market. But if we don't. If we keep hold of Solskjaer, then I don't think we'll have much chance because we don't know what the board are. But I think it's either going to be down to who takes the permanent managerial role, whether it's going to be Solskjaer or Zidane or someone else, and it's mainly down to the board. We need a new board. We need a director of football because obviously our board doesn't like to sign players, doesn't like spending money, and I think. I think if the board are going to do the same in the next transfer window, we're going to get no one. So it's all down to permanent managerial role and the board.
I think you make good points there. I think definitely. I think for me in the summer, I think definitely we should be looking to strengthen defensively. Even if we are going to trust Eric Bailly, which it doesn't look like Solskjaer is at the moment, I'm going to be honest. If we should be bringing in another centre back for me. But apart from that, I think our team's very, very good. I mean, I might be looking at bringing in potential squad players and that, but ultimately I feel like our squad. Is decent. It's probably one of the best squads in the Premier League, but I think we just need that kind of almost that kind of Van Dijk to kind of come in and really strengthen the back four. But that's It remains to be seen where that happens. It remains to be seen where that happens. But Daryl, I'll let you go, mate. Obviously, I know you're struggling with the flu at the moment, and I really do hope it it all clears up for you and it gets better.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, Daryl. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
See you later, mate, and hopefully that clears up for you. But thank you so much for Daryl coming on, even when obviously he seems a bit under the weather, which is sad. So obviously make sure you check out his channel in the description down below. Ron G says Ronnie Gashi to Girona, Frederick Lamar to Bradford. To Bradford. Oh, Bedford. I mean, I'll tell you what, mate, this guy's keeping me up to date. And if you haven't already, mate, please do subscribe to the channel as well. Really, really good stuff. And thanks for joining. Please do every day from Lindelof. Well, yeah, to be fair, Victor Lindelof has done absolutely brilliantly. And I think definitely he's our January player of the month. He's just been monumental at the back for us. And I think Phil Jones and Lindelof just isn't the right partnership. I think Lindelof and Bailly, as we saw against Arsenal, did much, much better. And I hope we see that partnership a lot more in the future. And if we don't, I think we need to bring someone else in because Phil Jones is just not good enough. But anyway, guys, that'll be it. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please do leave a like and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below on what you thought of this transfer window as well. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you guys for the Leicester preview on Saturday night. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.